Wait. Welcome back. How are you? If you're new here, welcome. I hope you stay and learn something new. So today we are covering the 7 cures for a lean purse from the richest man in Babylon. Sorry, had to take my, hold on, let me get my my cover drawn, you know what I'm saying? All right. So this is one of my favorite chapters actually because you learn some sauce. So it's time to share the sauce. Let us begin. The glory of Babylon endures. Down through the ages, its reputation comes to us as the richest of cities. Its treasures as fabulous. Yet it was not always so. The riches of Babylon were the result of the wisdom of its people. They first had to learn how to become wealthy. So, what does this tell us? Is that this is an acquirable trait throughout your journey of life. Good to know. When the good king, Sargon, returned to Babylon after defeating his enemies, the Elamites, he was confronted with a serious situation. The royal chancellor explained it to the king thus: after many years of great prosperity brought to our people because your majesty built the great irrigation canals and the mighty temples of the gods, now that these works are completed, the people seem unable to support themselves. Interesting. The laborers are without employment. The merchants have few customers. The farmers are unable to sell their produce. The people have not enough gold to buy food. See, what happened here was a supply and demand issue. You know what I'm saying? Economics. Yes. Actually, let me not even. We'll save that for another day. All right. But where has all the gold gone that we spent for these great improvements? Demanded the king. It has found its way, I fear, responded the chancellor. The chancellor kind of funny. Into the possession of a few very rich men of our city. It filtered through the fingers of most of our people as quickly as the goat's milk goes through the strainer. Now that the stream of gold has ceased to flow, most of our people have nothing for their earnings. This is very interesting because a lot of cities in today's day and age, they struggle with budget, The king was thoughtful for some time. Then he asked, why should so few men be able to acquire all the gold? Because they know how, replied the chancellor. One may not condemn a man for succeeding because he knows how. Neither may one with justice take away from a man what he has fairly earned, to give to men less ability. But why? Demanded the king. Should not all I don't know why this is funny today. I think I'm just happy to be. It's been like 3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? But I said I was going to improve the cadence. Don't worry, it'll happen. You know what I'm saying? In due time. But why? Demanded the king. Should not all the people learn how to accumulate gold and therefore become themselves rich and prosperous? Quite possible, Your Excellency. But who can teach them? Certainly not the priests, because they know for naught of money making. Who knows best in all our city how to become wealthy, Chancellor? Asked the king. Thy question answers thyself. Thy question answers itself, your majesty, who has amassed the great wealth in Babylon. Well said, my able chancellor. It is Arcad. He is the richest man in Babylon. Bring him before me on the morrow. He's basically saying, listen, bring Arcad right now. Like, he's not about to let his whole, his whole city suffer. Upon the following day, as the king had decreed, Arcad appeared before him, straight and sprightly, despite his 70 years and 10. So I guess that means he's 40. Arcad spoke. Arcad spoke the king. Is it true? Thou art the richest man in Babylon? So it is reported, your majesty, and no man disputes it. How becamest thou so wealthy? By taking advantage of opportunities available to all citizens of our good city. Thou hadst nothing to start with, only a great desire for wealth. Besides this, nothing. Arcad, continued the king, our city is in a very unhappy state because a few men know how to acquire wealth and therefore monopolize it, while the mass of our citizens lack the knowledge of how to keep any part of gold they receive. It is my desire that Babylon be the wealthiest city in the world. Therefore, it must be a city of many wealthy men. Therefore, we must teach all the people how to acquire riches. Tell me, Arcad, is there any secret to acquiring wealth? Can it be taught? It is practical, your majesty. That which one man knows can be taught to others. And that's why I like science. You know what I'm saying? Because in order for something to be law in science, it has to be replicable. The king's eyes glowed. Arcad, thou speakest the words I wish to hear. Wilt thou lend thyself to this great cause? Wilt. So he's saying, will you partner up with me, the king, and educate these people? Wilt thou teach thy knowledge to a school of teachers, each of whom shall teach others until there are enough trained to teach these truths to every worthy subject in my domain? Arcad bowed and said, I am thy humble servant to command. Whatever knowledge I possess, will I gladly give for the betterment of my fellow men and the glory of my king. Let your good chancellor arrange for me a class of 100 men, and I will teach them those 7 cures, which did fatten my purse, than which there was none leaner in all Babylon. So get ready. He's about to drop some knowledge. We all about to pick it up. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Yes, sir. A fortnight later, in compliance with the king's command, the chosen 100 assembled in the great hall of the Temple of Learning, seated upon colorful rings in a semicircle. Arcad sat beside a small taboret, that's like a stool, upon which smoked a sacred lamp, sending forth a strange and pleasant odor. Behold, the richest man in Babylon, whispered a student, nudging his neighbor as Arcad arose. He is but a man, even as the rest of us. As a dutiful subject of our great king, Arcad began, I stand before you in his service, because once I was a poor youth who did greatly desire gold, And because I found knowledge that enabled me to acquire it, he asks that I impart onto you my knowledge. I started my fortune in the humblest way. I had no advantage, not enjoyed as fully by you and every citizen in Babylon. The first storehouse of my treasure was a well purse. I loathed its useless emptiness. I desired it to be round and full, clinking with the sound of gold. Therefore, I sought every remedy for a lean purse. I found 7. To you, I actually like the number 7. I don't know if it's like, I don't know, something about that number. Like, I'm a big fan of Cristiano Ronaldo, lucky number 7. All right, back to the book. We don't care about that. We're trying to learn how to make some paper, right? Or some digital currency, To you who are assembled before me, I shall explain the 7 cures for a lean purse, which I do recommend to all men who desire much gold. Each day for 7 days will I explain to you one of the 7 remedies. Listen attentively to the knowledge that I will impart. Debate it with me. Discuss it among yourselves. Learn these lessons thoroughly, that ye may also plant in your own purse the seeds of wealth. Now remember, before we start, he said plant. All right? Plant the seed. It takes time for plants to grow. Okay? Any get rich quick method is just essentially, you're not going to get that wealth. You're essentially just making somebody else rich. You get what I'm saying? Great things take time. First, must each of you start wisely to build a fortune of his own. Then wilt thou be competent, and only then to teach these truths to others. I shall teach to you in simple ways how to fatten your purses. This is the first step leading to the temple of wealth, and no man may climb who cannot plant his feet firmly upon the first step. We shall now consider the first cure. The first cure. Start thy purse to fattening. So basically, you know what I'm saying? Are you ready? Does my soundboard work? Are you ready? All right, let's go. Arcad addressed a thoughtful man in the second row. My good friend, at what craft workest thou? I replied, the man, am a scribe and carve records upon the clay tablets. Now, if you go back a couple episodes, doesn't that sound familiar? Mm-hmm. Yes, it does. Even at such labor did I myself earn my first coppers. This is Arcad talking. Therefore, thou hast the same opportunity to build a fortune. He spoke to a florid-faced man farther back. Pray, tell also what dost thou to earn thy bread? I, responded the man, am a meat butcher. I do buy the goats the farmers raise and kill them and sell the meat to the housewives and the hides to the sandal makers. Because thou dost also labor and earn, thou hast every advantage to succeed that I did possess. In this way did Arcad proceed to find out how each man labored to earn his living. When he had done, when he was done, that's not in there, but I just added it. When he was done questioning them, he said, "Now, my students, ye can see that there are many trades and labors at which men may earn coins. Each of the ways of earning is a stream of gold from which the worker doth divert by his labors a portion to his own purse. Therefore, into the purse of each of you flows a stream of coins, large or small, according to his ability. Is it not so?" Hold on 1 second. Oops. Y'all like that intermission screen? Or the starting soon screen? I need to make an intermission screen, actually. Soon come, soon come. All right, where was I? I think I was here. My apologies, friends. Therefore, into the purse of each of you flows a stream of coins, large or small, according to his ability. Is it not so?" Thereupon they agreed that it was so. "Then," continued Arcad, "if each of you desireth to build for himself a fortune, is it not wise to start by utilizing that source of wealth which he already has established?" To this they agreed. Then Arcad turned to a humble man who had declared himself an egg merchant. Now, before we continue, this means something. So if you have a job, you're already on the way. So bear with me. "If thou select one of thy baskets and put into it each morning 10 eggs, and take out from it each evening 9 eggs, what will eventually happen? It will become in time overflowing. Why? Because each day I put in 1 more egg than I take out." Arcad turned to the class with a smile. Does any man here have a lean purse? First they looked amused, then they laughed. Lastly, they waved their purses in jest. So they said, "Listen, I don't got nothing right now." You know what I'm saying? So they ready to learn. "All right," he continued. "Now I shall tell thee the first remedy I learned to cure a lean purse. Do exactly as I have suggested to the egg merchant. For every 10 coins thou placeth within thy purse, take out for use but 9. Thy purse will start to fatten at once, and its increasing weight will feel good in thy hand and bring satisfaction to thy soul." Do you hear me? Do you hear Arcad? Not me. Do you hear Arcad? For every 10 you put in, only take out 9. Deride not what I say because of its simplicity. Truth is always simple. I told thee I would tell how I built my fortune. This was my beginning. I too carried a lean purse and cursed it because there was not within to satisfy my desires. But when I began to take out from my purse but 9 parts of 10 I put in, it began to fatten. So will thine. In other words, so will yours. Feel me? Hold on. We about to get into... Just wait. Now I will tell a strange truth. The reason for which I know not. When I cease to pay out more than 9/10 of my earnings, I manage to get along just as well. So to those thinking, all right, I need my whole check, because yeah, you get your check, you spend it all. But in reality, how much, like, yeah, you have your basic needs, but how much of what you do in your life do you actually need? You know, there's a lot of convenience, a lot of extra stuff that we mix in there that because of our desire, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes lack of focus, you think that's what you need, but it's not. And you'll be okay. And that's okay. Till you know what I'm saying? Till your purse fattens. You know what I'm saying? I managed to get along just as well. I was not shorter than before. Also, year long, did coins come to me more easily than before? Surely it is a law of the gods that unto him who keepeth and spendeth not a certain part of all his earnings shall gold come more easily. And this is true, because when I did practice this during COVID, like, yeah, like to this day even, like it was a start. I remember I put $9 into Dogecoin and that turned into 1,000. And then from there I reinvested it and the rest is history. Feel me? A certain part of all his earnings shall gold come more easily. Likewise, him whose purse is empty does gold avoid. Which desireth thou the most? Is it the gratification of thy desires of each day? A jewel, a bit of finery, better raiment, more food. I'm saying, like, what is it? You want that AP, you know what I'm saying? You want a pinky ring? What? A gold cane to walk with? What do you want? New clothes, you know what I'm saying? That fresh silk comes at a cost. Things quickly gone and forgotten? Or is it substantial belongings? Gold, lands, herds, merchandise, income bringing investments. The coins thou takest from thy purse bring the first. The coins thou leavest within will bring the latter. Are you listening? So it's not with your paycheck that you're gonna buy that nice stuff, okay? It's with the money that you paid yourself, that you put into something else that's gonna get you that. You dig? That's how you spend without worrying. There's more to it. Let's get into it. Or is it substantial belongings? I already read that. I'm gonna say it again though. The coins thou takest. So the coins you take from your purse bring the first, right? The coins you leave will bring the rest. So the jewels, AP, the car, you know what I'm saying? The land, you know what I'm saying? Those money, income bringing investments, that's what you get first. You dig what I'm saying? This, my students, was the first cure I did discover for my lean purse. For each 10 coins I put in, to spend but 9. Debate this amongst yourselves. If any man proves this untrue, tell me upon the morrow when we shall meet again. He said, talk between yourselves. If any one of you comes back and says this is not true, no, he said, just come back tomorrow. If anybody, you know what I'm saying, figures out that that's not true. Feel me? Like, you can't make this up. And honestly, to the first people watching this, bravo. Congratulations. Because like, realistically, probably like for like, you know what I'm saying, in the beginning at least, like, I don't know when, nobody has a date circle on the calendar, but to right now, like I think my most popular long form has like 16 views. So to the 16 people out there, congratulations. Because you're about to learn the second cure. Control thy expenditures. Some of you members, my students, have asked me this. How can a man keep 1/10 of all his earns in his purse when all the coins he earns are not enough for his necessary expenses? So did Arcad address his students upon the second day. Yesterday, how many of thee carried lean purses? So in other words, he's saying, how many of y'all were broke yesterday? All of us, answered the class. Yet thou do not all earn the same. He's saying, y'all all broke, but not all of y'all get the same check. Some earn much more than others. So in other words, he's saying, hold on. Some have much larger families to support, yet all purses were equally lean. So he's saying, y'all all broke. Something not adding up. The math is not mathing. Now, I will tell thee an unusual truth about men and sons of men. It is this. So watch out, because you about to learn about yourself. So pay attention. Tap in. That what each of us calls our necessary expenses will always grow to equal our incomes, unless we protest the contrary. So in other words, unless if you have discipline, the more money you make, the more your needs will increase. So have some discipline. Have some goddamn decorum. You dig what I'm saying? All right. Let's keep it going. But in other words, yes, it's like money is an amplifier. So whatever you spend it on, you know what I'm saying? That's what you're going to spend more of it on. Confuse not the necessary expenses with thy desires. Each of you, together with your good families, have more desires than your earnings can gratify. Therefore, are thy earnings spent to gratify these desires insofar as they will go? Still thou retainest many ungratified desires. All men are burdened with more desires than they can gratify. Because of my wealth, thinkest thou I may gratify every desire? So in other words, he's saying, I know y'all see I'm rich, but do y'all really think I'm buying everything I want to buy? So in other words, even the rich, the richest of the rich, which is crazy to think for real, but even they don't have enough to buy. Like it's human nature, quite frankly. But that's good, because it means that the same rules apply to everybody. Yes. 'Tis a false idea. There are limits to my time. There are limits to my strength. There are limits to the distance I may travel. Now, this was back when you could only ride camels. So, you know what I'm saying? We're a little more free in today's day and age. There are limits to what I may eat. There are limits to the zest in which I may enjoy. Now, in 2025, y'all use that. We use zest differently. You know what I'm saying? But like, in this term, it's more so like showy off, gaudy, like, you know what I'm saying? Stuff you don't like, flashy stuff. You know what I'm saying? I say to you that just as weeds grow, in a field wherever the farmers leave space for their roots, even so freely do desires grow in men whenever there is a possibility for their being gratified. Thy desires are a multitude, and those that thou mayst gratify are but few. In other words, he's saying, choose wisely. Sit down, self-evaluate, and figure out, what do you want? Who are you? You know what I'm saying? Who are you? What do you want? Or at least, what do you like? A lot of people don't know that. But if you can sit down, self-reflect, then you're on a good path, my friend. Where was I? Study thoughtfully thy accustomed habits of living. Herein may be most often found certain accepted expenses that may wisely be reduced or eliminated. We have apps now, you know what I'm saying, that can track spending. I know y'all get those ads on YouTube and on Instagram talking about, oh, what is it? Is it Wisely? I don't even know. I don't think it's Wisely. But there's that one ad that you get, and it's like, track your spending. How many subscriptions do you have? You know what I'm talking about. Get that if you need. You know what I'm saying? And if you're young, well, you're in luck, because chances are you probably only have your phone bill to pay right now. But yeah. Let thy motto be 100% of appreciated value demanded for each coin spent. In other words, he's saying that money that you worked hard for, that you sweated for potentially, if you're, blue collar, manual labor, spend it. Like, each dollar gotta be worth it and more potentially. But this, just 100%. Each dollar gotta be worth it. You dig? Therefore, engrave upon the clay each thing for which thou desireth to spend. So write it down. Write down what you want to spend your money on. Select those that are necessary and others that are possible through the expenditure of 9/10 of thy income. So break it down. You know what I'm saying? If you get paid, if you get paid $1,000, right? Like, leave 9, and you need to figure out. No, spend 9. My apologies. And just leave that 100. I promise you. Cross out the rest and consider them but a part of that great multitude of desires that must go unsatisfied, and regret them not. Because, you know what I'm saying? One thing I always found, so I like Full Metal Alchemist, right? And one thing I really enjoyed was like the first episode where they talk about the law of equivalent exchange, right? So it's like, if you want something, you got to give at least like something up. You dig what I'm saying? Like, if you want a car, why are you still going to the club spending $500 a weekend? Because if you add it up within that month of going out, you could have got that car. Let's just be for real with ourselves. There's some things, it's discipline. You dig? It's discipline. You can do it. I believe in you. Budget them. Budget then thy necessary expenses. Touch not the 1/10 that is fattening thy purse. Let this be thy great desire that is being fulfilled. In other words, you got to change your strat. Once you cross those things out that you can't afford, forget about it, man. Forget about it. When you stack that extra $100 each 2 weeks or whenever you get paid, that is the focus. That's the desire. So, other words, rewire your brain. Have you seen when they talk about how they be lobotomizing grok? Don't lobotomize yourself. No to that, of course. But rewire it when it's something that you at least deem is important. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not one day you just gonna wake up This is a constant effort every day that you need to follow through. I'm reading this book to you. I'm going to be quite frank with you. I'm not following it right now, but I have in the past, and it's yielded great results. And I'm reading it to share to you. And while I'm reading this to you, I'm getting back on this. So let's start. Right now, we starting at the same time. If you watch this video in the month that I released it, and even after, join up. You're late. Catch up. But you got this. You know what I'm saying? Keep working with thy budget. Keep adjusting it to help thee. Make it thy first assistant in defending thy fattening purse. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. That's your front line. That $100 every bi-weekly, that's your quarterback. Protect him. That blitz not getting through. You know what I'm saying? That text, yo, let's go to the club. It's not blitzing you, twin. Not this time. All right? That date, it can wait. You know what I'm saying? Till you can swipe and you're not even worried. Because I know, and you know, that you will feel a whole lot better if it was that way. So yeah, I digress. Hereupon, one of the students, wearing a robe of red and gold, arose and said, I am a free man. I believe that it is my right to enjoy the good things of life. He's not wrong. Therefore do I rebel against the slavery of a budget, which determines just how much I may spend and for what. And you know what? I can't blame him. Because when you get that big check, you know what I'm saying? You wanna, you know what I'm saying? You feeling good. The energy's up. Why not? I feel it would take much pleasure from my life and make me little more than a pack ass to carry a burden. To him, Arcad replied, who, my friend, would determine thy budget? True. Who determines the budget? I would make it myself, responded the protesting one. In that case, were a pack asked to budget his burden, would he include therein jewels and rugs and heavy bars of gold? Not so. And a pack ass is a donkey, by the way. So he was saying, like, he feels like a donkey for having a budget. A lot of people feel like that. They think they're too good for a budget. A budget is just another word for discipline. Because you can, especially in America, you can go into debt. You are more than welcome to go into debt. But this whole book I'm reading to you is for, just throw it, like, don't even get it. You dig what I'm saying? You decide. You can lead somebody to the water. You can't make them drink it. There. All right. Not so. He would include hay and grain and a bag of water for the desert trail. So essentially he's saying, even if you were a donkey, what would a donkey spend his money on? Food, on the necessities, and then just go on with his day. The purpose of a budget is to help thy purse to fatten. So the purpose of a budget is to make sure you stack your money. Okay? It is to assist thee to have thy necessities, and insofar as attainable, thy other desires. It is to enable thee to realize thy most cherished desires by defending them from thy casual wishes. Ooh, your desires versus your casual wishes. Your casual wishes, I would say, are the heat of the moment thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like you're in the mall, you see some shoes, you know what I'm saying? See some new jeans that just dropped, new Kesubi jeans, you know what I'm saying? Like a bright light in a dark cave, thy budget shows up, the leaks from thy purse, and enables thee to stop them and control thy expenditures for definite and gratifying purposes. Because at the end of the day, you work hard for your money. So spend it right. This then is the second cure for a lean purse. Budget thy expenses that thou mayst have coins to pay for thy necessities, to pay for thy enjoyments, and to gratify thy worthwhile desires without spending more than 9/10 of thy earnings. Thank you for tuning in today. We will cover the third cure, making that gold multiply, in the next episode. Thank you so much. This was Brother Bib, Books with Bib, episode 5, season 1, episode 5. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. And till the next episode. Bye-bye.